Good morning. Good morning. How are you today? I hope you're having a wonderful morning. I'm indoors today because it is raining in Toronto this morning, which is nice. We had hot weather, so the garden needs some rain. I'm all good with that. And so, other than that, it's just a wonderful morning. So, here we are. Today is a nice day. And one of the things we do as we go through life is jump in and take the changes as they come. And today we have that wonderful morning coming up at us, and it's giving us an opportunity to look at ourselves and see where we are going with everything that we do. And when we talk today, we are going to talk about wisdom. And wisdom is almost like something we know about, and somebody think perhaps wisdom. Good morning, Dawn. How are you? Good morning, Loretta. So today, we're going to talk about wisdom. I wanted to bring it up so that we can look at it because we hear it often. So how was your greeting to self? Hello, Palevi. Gosh, I'm getting it right. So Palevi and Dawn, how was last night's, how was it last night? Put a little word in the comment. How was last night? How did we do last night? It was a busy night. Lots of interaction. Everybody commented. They told us what was going on. So it was, hi Yoko, good morning. And how are you all this morning? So one of the things we had last night was engagement. Everybody seems to be engaging in it. And so when I saw that, I realized, oh my God, so we are getting there. Hi, Taran, good morning. How are you this morning? So last night was a great night. We had it on both sides. So if you wanted to see us and hear us in action for a little bit, we had about 20 minutes of IG Live while we were doing it. So you would see me like this. I enjoyed it. And then it was really, really amazing how it went. So I was happy with it. So I hope you guys were. So how are you this morning, family? What was greeting to self? Mine was, hurry up, you're late. You have to get cracking. So this morning was a rush to get here, and then it's raining, so I'm inside. And I hope you guys see that, because when it's raining, it's hard for me to leave the garden, but it's raining, the garden needs that. So we have to do that. So today we are going to look at wisdom, but I want to know, what was your greeting to self, and what mantra did you make for yourself today? So I said, all my words are uplifting. Or everything I say, I want it to uplift someone. So every word I use, I wanted to say to somebody, yes. You are, hi Debbie, good morning. Today we are talking about wisdom, Debbie. And I use my words to say, my mantra was, all my words are uplifting. I would prefer, put it that way, not to use words that are going to make somebody feel bad about themselves. So I decided all my words are uplifting. I try to find the words to make you feel good. I will not tell you a lie, but I will not tell you something that will make you feel worse than you are. I will find a way through what you're going through. Good morning, Christine. I see you arrive home safely. Thank you. I'm so happy to, after that storm you drove through. That's a thing to pay. Thank God for that. So you and your family got home safely. So it is amazing what we can do with those words of ours. And when we get older, as we age, people say we have wisdom. But I found out there are people who actually, I believe, are born with wisdom. There's people that watch their words. And that is what wisdom says. Wisdom is a part of Proverb. Proverb talks about wisdom a lot. And then I looked at some of the holy papers and holy books, other books. They talk about wisdom in a different way, but they tell you it's wisdom. And one of the things they said is in wisdom, all my words are just. There is no depravity in them and no perversity. That is what wisdom does. So wisdom, that's why God granted it to Solomon. When he asked them, he said, give me wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. He didn't ask for wealth. He didn't ask, and he gave him, he said, and long life. He said, because you didn't ask for that, I will give you what you asked for, plus I will give you wealth. And they said, it's still not measurable, the wealth of Solomon. So when you listen, the wisdom says, listen to me, because when I speak, I will speak of great things. So wisdom is not telling you I am outside of you. Wisdom is saying, listen to me. So who are you listening to? So wisdom is inside of us. Wisdom is there. It's just that we don't pay attention. And great things. And my lips will open so as to foretell what is right. I will talk about what is right. My throat shall practice truth, and my lips shall test the impious. So wisdom is when you come to the point where you speak the truth, and where your lips, you will stay away from the impious. Or impious meaning somebody that's cruel or wrong or not truthful. It says, accept my discipline. And it says, and not money. So accept the discipline. So discipline is very, very hard to do. Discipline is very hard for some. If you're not disciplined, you cannot stay focused. If you're not disciplined, you cannot reach your goals. If you don't have discipline, you will not know when to choose, what to choose. You will just be helter-skelter, So wisdom is telling you choose discipline. And it says, counsel is mine, and equity and prudence are mine. Strength is mine. So when a person has wisdom, or when they say they have developed, because apparently we use the word develop. So that tells me that wisdom is within us all. And it's up to us to make it work. It's up to us to feed it, to bring it out. It's up to us to be disciplined. It's up to us to speak the truth. It's up to us to stand for the truth. It's up to us not to listen to things that are not right. They are upright to those who understand it, and equitable to those who discover knowledge. That's what he's telling you. For wisdom is better than all that is most precious, and everything that is desirable cannot be compared to wisdom. So that is why I always like the Kenny Rogers song, The Gambler. If you listen to the words, it has a lot of wisdom in it. It tells you have to know when to walk away. You have to know when to run. You don't have to count your winnings while you're sitting at the table. So that tells me you don't always have to share the good fortune that's happening to you in words to others. I don't mean to share to give, but you're not going to say, I am this, I did this, for no reason, unless you're referencing, I came from this, like Drake said, we came from the bottom and now we are here. This is what it's all about. So we start here and now we're here. I can tell you that story. But I'm not supposed to start like the man that stood in the temple and said, look at me, I am great, I'm rich, I'm wealthy, not like this poor widow over there. So wisdom prevents you from doing that. So we have to find wisdom, because wisdom will give us a choice to understand. Wisdom does not tell us that our cup is full and there's no room to put more in. Wisdom does not tell us that we are so full of knowledge that we don't need to get more. Wisdom tells us to consider the way of others. There is always something to learn from somebody else. That's what wisdom does. Wisdom is not telling you that what I know is best and nobody else, you cannot tell me anything else. Yet, the more time you have when you're retired and you observe others and you observe children, you can see they have more wisdom in their little finger than we have in our whole head. In many instances, children are so sure. They have the boldness to say no. Like, I asked my granddaughter, do you want to go into the car? And she said, yes. You want to come out of the car? No. Why? Because she was there playing with all the buttons she can find out in this car. So she knew what she wanted. She stated yes and she stated no. But human beings, as adults, we don't do that. We would say maybe, or let me think about it, when we should just say no. Then we change our mind and say yes because we're afraid of what people will think of us. So are we practicing wisdom, which tells us to speak the truth? So that is what we have to learn. Every day I learn something new. And when I started watching the Kylie, and she was so bold, and she will tell you, no, you walk into the room and you're loud. She tells you, I'm watching. That means you're disturbing her. She's watching her show, and she'll tell you, watching show. And she puts that head and she shakes it. And so she's bold enough, whereas as an adult, we will find all these ways to not say no or not stand up for what we believe. So that is one of the things we have to understand. Wisdom, without wisdom, we are not going anywhere. Wisdom tells you, I was there before the time that he created the mountains and separate water from land. That is what wisdom said. I walk in the day of justice, in the midst of the paths of judgment. Through me princes rule, and the powerful decree justice. Counsel is mine, and equity. Prudence is mine, and strength is mine. That's what wisdom is saying. I've got it all. Wisdom is saying, I have strength within me. I have prudence, and I have counsel. That's why we say the older people have wisdom. You don't have to age to have wisdom. It tells you, wisdom says, seek me, because I'm better than precious jewels. I'm better than diamond and gold. Seek me, look for me, dig me. Go searching for me, because if you have me, you have it all. Because wisdom will make you know when to shut up. As I said, like the Kenny Rogers song, when to walk away and when to flipping run out of there. That is what wisdom is telling you. Wisdom will tell you the man is holding the knife at you. He has the blade, he has the handle in his hand. The knife is pointed at you. And wisdom will say to you, this is not the time for you to grab that blade. He pushes, you get cut. You pull, you get cut. Wisdom will tell you, stand still and wait until you can flip that blade around. That is what wisdom teaches us. Wisdom does not teach us to jump in with 2 feet. And when we get there, we say, ouch. They have urchins in the water. No. Wisdom will tell you to take your time and step in. Wisdom will tell you, sit in stillness and contemplate your movement. Wisdom will tell you, plan. Wisdom will tell you, call me before you have that conversation with your friend. Wisdom will tell me, this is not the time for you to shout. Wisdom will tell you, they're too hot. Wisdom will tell you, walk away from that road rage situation. That is what wisdom does. And how do we get wisdom? We get it by sitting in stillness and silence. Because really, wisdom is not outside of you and me. Truly, wisdom is not next door at your neighbor. It is inside. That is where it is. And if we don't go looking for it and waking it up, it will not wake up. So wisdom is not something that you can hold in your hand. It's not tangible. It's a feeling. It's a sense. It's deeper than all of that though. Because wisdom will tell you, hey, I want you to move. I do not want you to be here. But you must not have a fight with wisdom. Wisdom is that voice that you start to nurture. Wisdom is the time that you stop mid-breath, your mouth slightly open, and your brain on the moment. That's wisdom. You ever had that feeling when your mouth is just partly open and as if you're holding your breath and you're waiting? That is wisdom. That is when you're waking wisdom up. They are upright, those who understand wisdom. I love those who love me, and those who stand watch for me until morning shall discover me. Did you hear that? I love those that watch, that love me. And those who stand watch for me until morning shall discover me. So obviously, wisdom is not going to walk down the street and you will find it. You have to look for wisdom. Wisdom teaches you so much. Wisdom teaching you some humility. It teaches you don't always have to go out there and crush everybody's head. Wisdom tells you this is not the time, and wisdom will tell you now is the time, go for it. So to develop wisdom, you must seek it. It tells you that. And if you wait and ask for it, you will discover me in the morning. That means it's not sitting on the surface for you to pick like a fruit. Wisdom is inside of the fruit. Wisdom is the nectar of that sweet fruit. Wisdom is that thing that will tell you it's okay, now is your time. And no matter what everybody else says, wisdom will tell you, go on. Knock it off the park. Wisdom will tell you, do not spread it out on the table. Hold it back. I am not ready. Wisdom will say it's not ripe. You need to do more. Wisdom will tell you you have to reach a little higher, and you have to sprint a little faster. You have to train a little more. You have to put more in it. That is what wisdom tells you. Wisdom tells you desire, yes. But wisdom says, what are we doing towards it? What are you practicing towards it? What are you looking to see? That's what wisdom will tell you. I was ordained from eternity and out of antiquity before the earth was formed. That is what wisdom is telling you. So you can imagine how powerful that it was. I walk in the way of justice, in the midst of the path of judgment, so that I may enrich those who love me and thus complete their treasures. So when you use wisdom to make decisions, it tells you, I will complete you. And I will increase your treasures. It doesn't only mean material wealth. It means more of it. You are better able to judge. That is why when the women were fighting for this child that was alive out of two, one child did die. And when the women stood in front of King Solomon and they said that woman said, that child is mine. And the other one said, no, this child is mine. Solomon used his wisdom. It seems cruel, but he knew because he had wisdom. The real mother would show up. He asked them to give him a sword. He said, let's cut the child in half and give each of these women half of that child, because they're both claiming they are its mother. And that was his wisdom he was using. And somebody walking into the room would be cruel and say, what is Solomon doing? He's going to cut the baby in half. Because these two women are saying, it's my baby. The dead one is her baby. And they're going back and forth. As soon as he raised the sword, you know what happened? The real mother stood up and said, no, spare the child. Give her the child. The other one said, cut it up, because she understood. She had lost her child already. She knew it was her child that was dead. But when Solomon used his wisdom, which God gave him an abundance of, he knew exactly what to do. So he turned around and he said, give the child to the woman who said to spare the child. This is her child. Without wisdom, how would he have done it? So when he was praying, he asked God for wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. And God said to him, because you did not ask for long life and you did not ask for wealth, I will dump it all on you. And he gave him, and as I said, they still are unable to measure the wealth of King Solomon. But he had wisdom, and that wisdom is something that he asked God for it. So wisdom tells us, in all your asking, ask for me. Ask for wisdom. Wisdom gives you the ability to see what is underneath the leaf. It is the ability to see what is truly in that pretty jar. Wisdom will say the cover of the book is horrid, but what is inside of the book is worth reading. Wisdom will make you dig deeper. Wisdom will let you see the man that of your dreams on the surface. He's tall. He looks like Adonis, the Greek god. The muscles are shining. The woman is beautiful. She's stunning. But wisdom will tell you, check her heart. Wisdom will tell you, check his heart. Wisdom will tell you, check his behavior. The nuns at the Catholic school I went to said to me, if a man doesn't love his wife, his mother, he cannot love his wife. And that was wisdom. Because we would look at the man like a Greek god, handsome and tall. The woman like Cleopatra herself. But does she have compassion? Does she understand it? Does she have that love that will tell her, you have to give me a little more, I need a little more from you? No. The great God wants you to adore him. The Cleopatra of today wants you to see how stunning she is. She might not want to cook. She might not want to clean. And the great God might not want to work for a living. But wisdom, if you seek it, will tell you, turn away. Wisdom will give you that feeling that will tell you, it's not okay. That is just surface. You need to dig deeper than that. Wisdom will say, take that book and read it, because I have something in there for you. So when you develop, and in all of your seeking, seek wisdom. Ask for it by name. Because if we don't seek wisdom, I grew up in a household where my mom would say, God grant me wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. She always asked for that. I always heard her in my prayer. My mother prayed loud. My mother prayed while walking through the house. And she would sometimes pray in Creole, and she would say, Papa bon Dieu, ba-moi la force et le courage. And that was asking Father God, give me strength and courage. 5'2.5". That's all she was. But man, she was a tower house. She would make men, big men would shudder when she spoke. That was what she was. But she didn't get it by just, my mother's sick for it. She went to get wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. She asked God to give her strength and courage. What is a 5'2" woman born in the early 1900s doing with strength and courage? What? What was her mission? She left a legacy in words and in riches, but that was deeper than that. She saw the hurt in others and she stepped up, but she sought wisdom, constantly seeking wisdom. The mountains and the great masses were there. They had not been there when I stepped up. They're there, but they were not out when I stepped in, wisdom said. Before the hills, I was brought forth. So before he's saying, I was there before creation. He said, I stood next to God when he was creating. He said that. That is what wisdom is saying, he or she, how it comes. I was already present when he prepared the heavens, when with a certain law and a circuit he fortified their beasts, when he made the the sky above, and set free the fountains of water, when he encompassed the sea within its limit, and laid down a law for the waters, lest they transgress their limits, when he laid the foundations of the earth, I was with him in composing all things. So why don't we get it? He said I was there before these things happened. And I was delighted throughout every day by playing in his sight at all times, playing in the globe of the earth, and my delight was to be with the sons of men. Obviously, wisdom wants us to be part of it, and it wants to be part of us. But nobody teaches us that. Nobody tells us we should use wisdom. Nobody tells us to go seek it. Nobody's talking to us about finding wisdom. People are not telling us. They're not giving this to us. There's no teacher that say, in all of your seeking, before you become who you want to be, seek wisdom, because you will know you need it. When you open your great big business, you will need wisdom. When you become the entrepreneur that is hiring 100 people, you are going to need wisdom. It doesn't tell us that. But look at how many times you have to use wisdom. I did at the bank. Many times I had to just sit and go looking for wisdom. Because whatever it's a customer or staff member, I needed wisdom to get it through. Or maybe to deal with my VP, who wanted me to have a cell phone for after 4, when I didn't work after 4. So I told him, when my high heels leave the parking lot of the bank and it steps into my car, I am no longer on his payroll until I step into the parking lot the next morning. I don't think he liked it, or he didn't care. He just looked at me and he would just walk away, whatever, because I gave him his numbers. But I was not going to be chained to a cell phone. That when Brinks, the bank, was got in the vault, they would phone the house line. Then I knew that something is really happening. But I didn't want, when he had his gestatomy, in the middle of the night to call me and tell me what you think about this. I didn't need that. So I chose the way of being honest. And I told him. At first he didn't understand it. And then after a while he got it. But you know what? I had to push it. So wisdom makes you think of an answer. Somebody said you always have an answer. I do. Because I do not always answer right away. I will smile and I will pause. You ask me a question. If you know me well, I will pause. If you know me well when you're talking, I will listen. If you know me well, I will repeat the question when you ask me a question. Because that time, it gives me time to digest what you said, but it also helps me to prepare an answer for you. Maybe 10 seconds. But I need that 10 seconds to answer you in the way that is better for both of us. So this is what wisdom is. So in all you're getting, wisdom tell you, get me. Listen to discipline and become wise. Do not be willing to cast it aside. So those of you who are Christians, you want to read it. It's Proverbs chapter 8. Even if you're not Christians, pick up the Old Testament and read Proverbs chapter 8. And just read it. Read it in the English version so you understand every word of it. Don't read the old version of it because there's die and thou and all of that. And blessed is the man who listens to me and who stands watch by my gates every day and who observes me at the post of my doors. He who finds me finds life, and he will draw salvation from God. But he who sins against me will wound his own soul, and all who hate me love death. That's what wisdom says. So on that note, have a wonderful day. Let me see what you guys were thinking about while I was talking about wisdom. Thank you, Rosita. So, thank you everybody for dropping by. Wisdom doesn't need age. No, wisdom does not need age. I know that for sure now. We take wisdom away from children. They come into the world with it. And we force them to bend and twist them into the pretzel shapes we want. And in so doing, we take wisdom away from them. I don't know where I got it, but I have one dominant child, in a sense, my middle daughter, Vanessa. At the age of 18 months, she would tell you what she wanted to dress, what she wanted to wear. So I would say, yeah. And I looked at her and she would turn red in the face. And I thought, you know what am I fighting with this human being for at 8 or 7:30 in the morning because she wants to dress with orange pants, purple top, pink socks, yellow shoes. She looks like a Christmas tree. So I just let it go. And she has always carved her own way. Vanessa has always, if you go for a walk with Vanessa and you come to a crossword and your walk wasn't already planned, Vanessa stops. I said, just let me consider which way I want to go. And I come across that with her a lot. And Vanessa will watch, she will listen, and no wonder she's a doctor. She can listen to people and she can talk. And Vanessa will never say, I don't need help. She'll always ask you, what would you do? So wisdom, some people get it, and if you are smart enough, you see it in a child, do not cut it off. Let them be themselves. The world has enough cookie cutters. So thanks, Rosita. I thank you. I am like you to Tessa. Love it. Thank you. So guys, what an excellent message. Thank you, Rosita. Hi, Deep Soul. We were talking about wisdom. I hope you caught some of it. Just what I wanted to hear, Pavlia said. Yes, I have one of those too. Everybody's having their fun. Yeah, there's people that are born with wisdom. So anyway, guys, thank you so much for this wonderful opportunity to talk about wisdom. It's one of my favorite passages in the book of Proverbs. It's chapter 8. So try to use it. Thanks, Donato. Do not, if you have a child or children, some of you are still having children, if you have a child growing up, a baby, and you notice they have a certain attitude, nurture it. Because this world we're entering is a brand new world. It is not a world that has room for feeble-minded people. It's not a world that's going to be washy-pashy, not sure who they are people. Nurture people to be bold. Nurture your children to be wise. Nurture your children to force them to think. Converse with them. Ask them what they think. So what would you do about it? When you do have to discipline a child, that's what I did. I would say to them, my reason for doing this is that. The reason I'm disciplining you is because of that. So always try to do that with a child. I am telling you no because. But you have to be careful because the children sometimes will use it right back. So I said to Jillian, when her little girl across the street could cross the street and go back and forth, and she wanted to do that, and I said to her, you're not supposed to cross the street by yourself, you're too young. She said, well, Vicky crosses the street by herself. And my answer to was, well, obviously nobody cares whether Vicky gets hit by a car. So one day Vicky comes across and she said, Vicky, obviously nobody cares that you get hit by a car with Vicky's mother standing there. So it was out of the bag. So you have to be careful what you say to them, but you do have to give them a reason why you're doing what you're doing. It's better. People understand it. So have a wonderful day and thank you so much for being with me today. I'll see you guys tonight at 7 p.m. I have work to do. We are going to look at the vision of the death spiral and how we can stop it from getting into that. So it was a wonderful evening. I will not read because wisdom took all of your strength and this morning. So why do you ask that politely? Who's that? I don't, are you talking to me or somebody else? Where you going? Yes, I was thinking maybe I should, Donado. Why did you ask? I'm that dead monster. Rosita is chopping that dead monster. I don't know what I'm doing. And oh, hi, Corinne. We were talking about wisdom. I don't know what to run and done. One thing I do often to give myself some time to process a question from someone is saying it doesn't say the rest. So I guess that's why you and Don have. So why do you ask that? Very politely. Why do you ask that? And Teron said, ooh, I don't know. Well, where you're going, Donato? I thought maybe half an hour of speaking in the morning would be okay, Donato. That's what I was thinking, unless you have something to say, or you have something to offer, or you have a question to ask. If not, okay, why did I say ask a question? I think it would be better when you don't wake up in the morning, Donato. You could sleep. Anyone who can say, so let's see what this is. Let me see this question of Donato. I can't get your question this morning or your statement, something. Okay. So I couldn't read it. It doesn't show up. So guys, I am glad you all are here. And Donato seems to want me to stay. Read the above that. I'm chopping that dead monster. I read what Taran said, but I didn't get all of it. He said, one thing I do often is to give myself some time to process questions from someone. He's saying very politely, and I guess the rest. So somebody said it was a brilliant day to start the way. The youngest is like that. Okay. Yeah, it is. To get a little bit of wisdom and to use it. Because wisdom will tell you when to shut up. That is what I like about wisdom. It does say, how do you seek wisdom? In stillness and silence. And you ask for wisdom. You have to ask. Wisdom is like asking. Wisdom, you must go and seek wisdom. Wisdom tells you, seek me. He tells you, seek me. Don't get up from your prayer until you find me. That's what wisdom says. Wisdom said, seek me until morning. So wisdom is telling you, stay up all night and pray for me. Look for me. Ask for me. That is what wisdom is saying. How should someone seek wisdom? by being in stillness and silence and simply asking and developing some discipline. Discipline can make you stay in silence. That is why people think only the old people has wisdom, because they can sit and just contemplate and let their mind, and you think their mind is wandering or they're going cuckoo because they're sitting in silence. But that is because they already found wisdom. So you sitting in stillness and silence is looking for wisdom, and you have to seek it. You have to question it. You have to understand the meaning of the word wisdom. And you have the discipline of constantly asking for wisdom. How should I react in this situation? What should I do about this situation? And that is how you seek wisdom. Instead of jumping right away and answer a question before it leaves this person's mouth, in the book of Proverbs, you learn how to live life. The book of Proverbs also tells you, he who answers before hearing the whole entire question is a fool. Doesn't mince word. So you haven't seen people that before the words are out of your mouth, they're formulating an answer. We all do that. We all tend to do that. But we have to pull back and let the person finish their thought, which is great. But if you are not listening, you will be answering and interrupting all the time because you refuse to hear what they have to say. So that is what it tells you. Listen. So if you're going to get wisdom, you have to go into yourself and say, where is wisdom? How can I find wisdom? What am I going to do with wisdom today? How do I react in this situation? How do I prepare myself to face that time? That's what wisdom tells you. That's how you find wisdom, by saying, what now? Wisdom is saying to you, okay, you already broke the plate, the pieces are on the floor. So getting upset about it is not going to make those pieces come back together miraculously. No. Wisdom will tell you, take a pail and a broom and pick it up and get on with it. So wisdom is the thing that will say, so what do I do now? Wisdom will not dwell on how it happened. It already happened. It's so telling the person, because you didn't do this, that's why this happened. It doesn't make sense now. What makes sense? Because it has happened, what do we do? What can we do to fix it now? That's the difference. So that is how I see wisdom. Wisdom is telling you, it's already broken. The mistake is already made. We lost. How can we get to that next time we win? What can we do? We can practice more. We can be more disciplined. We are on a diet and we decide we're going to eat chocolate cake all day today. That is no discipline. So wisdom will tell you, and you expect to get better result. So the discipline will be, no, I'll have one piece or I'll have a little piece and I'll walk away. So that is what, but sitting there after you've eaten 2 slices of cake and say, I shouldn't have. Well, you know what, it's not going to change I shouldn't have because you have. What you have to try to do is have the discipline. So next time you don't do that. You cannot correct the past, but you can use the past as a lesson for the future and the present. So that's it, and I'm done, Donato, whether you like it or not. So good day. Good day, everybody, and have a wonderful morning, all of you. There isn't anything Donato could say that would get me to stay there. He might ask another question, but he knows how to find wisdom. Hi, PT. Hello, Jermaine, how are you? We're talking about wisdom, and you came a little later. But it's okay, though. We have a lot of fun with that. So, guys, does it teach us to have more patience? Of course it does. Of course wisdom teaches you to have more patience, Donato. It teaches you for a moment to just stay and stand still. Wisdom teaches you to have more patience. The thing about wisdom, if you really and truly have it, you're kind of almost level-headed. When they say this level-headed person, that's you. So you're level-headed to the point where you will say, not now. So it teaches you a lot of patience. It teaches you that thing. Wisdom just calms you down. And it says, why are you rushing? You're already late. Rushing is not going to get you there, but rushing can cause an accident. So wisdom will tell you, you're going into the shower, it might be slippery, hold on to the rails. But if you just step into that thing, you could fall. So wisdom can teaches you so much patience. Wisdom can teach you to wait until you can find a way to flip the handle of the knife in your hand, to take the power from the person that has the power over you. That doesn't mean you have to fight with them. They don't have to be stronger than you, and you don't have to be stronger than them. You have to have more wisdom than them. And you have to know when to use it. Again, my favorite country song, The Gambler. You have to know. It's so important to listen to the words of that song. I used it every Tuesday afternoon at 3 o'clock for my sales meeting. I always used it. I said, today you are the top salesperson. Do not flaunt it too much. Because tomorrow, that one who is number one will be the best, and you will not want to see them do that. So hold it close to your chest. And that is what wisdom will teach you to do. So let me see what else is more. Yeah, wisdom will make you speak less and listen more. But when you get the chance to speak, wisdom will not shy. Wisdom will not make you be shy. Wisdom will make you stand up. You know who had wisdom I enjoyed? And yet when she spoke, millions stopped to listen, was Maya Angelou. All her books. She had this thing. She had this thing inside of her. Have you ever watched her thing when she spoke? It wasn't loud, and she always had those pausing moments. And as I said, people might not agree with me. I learned that by observing 3 politicians. You can go now, LOL. Thanks, Donato. Thanks for your freedom. I love time outs. It's wisdom a time. Well, wisdom a time out. Why are you putting people in time out? Because what they're doing you don't like, and these are people you have control over, children. Couldn't you just talk to them first and find out why they decide to behave that way? Time out to do what? You send them time out to their room where they have tons of toys and everything they like. Do you think they're going to learn anything from that? It would be better to take them on a walk and tell them why I am giving you, why I am not happy with you at the moment. No, it's not a time out. I don't do time out. I never did time out. I had conversation. I would say to them, this is what we're going to do because of your behavior. It's like when Michael said to me he didn't like the teacher. And I said to him, and somehow that's going to work for you? He was like 6 or 7. I don't like Mrs. So-and-so. I said, oh yeah? And I said, and what do you think is going to happen because you don't like her? And he said, I don't know. I said, well, you should think about what's going to happen. And I said, the school is not going to get rid of her because of you. And if you don't do what you're supposed to do, guess what? You're going to spend another year in her class. So think about that. If I were you, I would learn and get the hell out of there. So that is what wisdom will make people think. I forced him to think. I asked him, what do you think is going to happen? I don't know, but I don't like her. And I said, the school is not going to move Mrs. So-and-so because you don't like her. So you better get accustomed to that. And if you don't do the work she's asking you to do, she's going to keep you there with her forever. Make a choice, man. Where do you want to go? What do you want? Well, I better study so I can get out of there. I said, you think? And that is how I spoke to them. I didn't give them, and that's why if you talk to Michael today, he'll tell you my mother was always on the side of the school. That wasn't true. But wisdom, I had to make him see it himself. I couldn't do it for him. And that's where we fail. We have to know the conversation before we go and fight a war. So that's what wisdom make you do. I'm going to give Donato a time. What you think? I would give Donato though. I have to take him on the journey. He must taste. Donato is not tasting the process. He has to taste it. He needs to taste the journey. Taste the process, Donato. Taste the process. Anyway, guys, goodbye. Have a wonderful morning. I'm going. 45 minutes of talking. And I've succeeded in making Donato take a time out. I love time outs. No, Donato. You're not getting any time out here. He gets time out every day. She can't catch me. Versus Donato live. We've done that already. You haven't seen that? Oh, come on, Taran. I would do a live with him and I would crush him like a baby, like putty, like in my hand, like Play-Doh. Oh, I've just said him up, haven't I? Bye, guys. Talk to you all of you later. Have a wonderful morning.